you a market update on what's going on in the market, and then also share with you guys some things that I do in my professional presentation. So from a mortgage standpoint, we've kind of been drinking through a fire hose in the last couple of years with rates being really low. And, we've kind of been in more of a service role more than a sales role. And so, the real estate agents that I work with, I think it's important for you to recognize what I'm talking to our clients about and what I'm doing to inform them so they can make the best decision. I'm not familiar with what a lot of other loan officers do, but I wanted to share with you some things that I go over. So I'll start with a market update, and I will share my screen here. I wanted to share a couple websites with you guys. So for the market update, I'm going to share my web browser. Can everyone see that? My screen here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. So this is a service I use. It's called MBS Highway. And basically, they do a video update. Barry Habib, very well-known economist, very well respected in the mortgage industry. So he tracks the movement of bonds and the stock market and everything. And so this chart right here is showing the activity going back to March of this year. So these bond prices, basically the lower these bond prices go, and each one of these candles represents a day, the lower these go, the higher interest rates go. And so you can see that since March, they've steadily been going up. We know they were super low last year. And specifically right here, let me see if I can draw this. So from the beginning of this month to today, you can see that the trend line is not good. It's getting worse. So rates have been getting higher. Now, there's a lot of warning signs about recession, and I'm sure you've heard a lot in the news about all that. So basically what the Fed does is when they raise the Fed funds rate, they're doing that in an effort to curb inflation. So when we're talking with clients, they hear that rates are going up, Well, the more that the Fed does to battle interest rates or inflation, it's actually good for mortgage rates. So after the Fed announcement the last two times, we actually saw a few little rallies to where interest rates got better, because the more inflation comes down, the better interest rates will get. And I'm actually going to show another screen talking about, inflation versus interest rates. So I'm going to share this image, and I can send a follow-up email to share these images with you guys too. Can everybody see this picture?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this blue line in the graph represents the 30-year fixed average rate in the United States. These shaded areas right here, those represent the recessions. And this is going back to, the mid-1970s. So what you'll see is immediately following a recession or entering in a recession and coming out of a recession, interest rates with 100% accuracy drop lower. And so we're kind of at the front end of this recession. All of the recession indicators from 1 year ago, last September, the numbers were very low. So what that means is for this month's numbers to be lower than last year is very unlikely. But what we think is in October, we're going to start to see a year-over-year decline because of what the Fed's doing with interest rates. So they've hiked interest rates 0.75% the last two meetings, and we believe that they're going to do that again in this next meeting. So that's good news for interest rates. So, being able to kind of talk about recessions and what happened with interest rates, that's a good topic with clients. And then I want to show another image that actually shows the Case-Shiller Home Price Index. also in relation to recession. So I'll pop up this image. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay, so this is a similar chart. This one goes a little bit further back into 1960. And so the white line on this chart is the Case-Shiller National Home Price Index. So that's an average of what home values are doing. In this image, the dark blue areas shaded, those are the recessions going back to 1960. So with one outlier being towards the right end of the chart in 2008, that's when home values declined during a recession. And that's the only time out of the last 9 recessions that that's happened. Typically, real estate is a very secure investment. And so during a recession, home values usually stay flat or even appreciate. So you can see we had that blip in 2020 for COVID, kind of an anomaly, but values went up and then they continue to go up as people move throughout the country. So I'll share this image too, to be able to educate clients. Do you guys have any questions about either one of those charts, or do you understand how that works, and do you have any comments on it?
I think I have a pretty good understanding so far.
Yeah, and I think just having these facts is helpful to be able to share, right?
Absolutely.
So now we looked at that chart. I'm going to switch my screen back here. I shared this browser chart showing these, and it's like, okay, well, what the heck does that mean to me? We can obviously see the trends of rates, or what rates are doing going up and down. This site is something that I really like to use when I'm talking with clients, when we're doing a presentation in the office. So Optimal Blue is a pricing engine that basically 35% of mortgages done in the United States are actually locked through this program. So they work with all types of mortgage banks, mortgage brokers. So this chart, we can actually bring this up in a client presentation, and you can see right now the 30-year conforming average is just over 6%. And these different lines down here can be manipulated by the switches shown at the bottom. So if I wanted to show just 30-year fixed conforming rates, I can uncheck this jumbo and this FHA line, and this will show clients exactly what's happened, since, let's see, this goes back to June. So, they hear about things in the news, but really we're trying to educate them with facts. Additionally, depending on what their down payment and credit score is, we can actually flip these switches and show them that, well, you may have seen a rate advertised online. They're really going to quote you the best terms, but with your credit score, et cetera, this is where the rate's at for you personally, right? So we explain to them that rates are different for FHA versus conventional, and it also depends on down payment and credit score. So I want to give you a real world example. We really don't like these guys, Rocket Mortgage. I don't know what your experience is with them. A lot of people just know this name brand, right? So when I'm in a mortgage consultation, I say, basically our process for applying in our technology is the same as Rocket Mortgage, but we're not paying to advertise our company during the Super Bowl, right? That's big, big money that they're spending. So you guys can actually go to Rocket Mortgage's website on any given day. And you can go to this Optimal Blue website too, showing the averages. So I'll share that link in the follow-up email. But looking at today's mortgage rates for Rocket Mortgage, down here, we have a 30-year fixed. So remember, today per Optimal Blue, the 30-year fixed average conforming is 6.16%. If we click over to Rocket Mortgage, they're advertising a 6.25% interest rate. And can you see this right here where well, it won't let me highlight, but they're charging 2 points to get that interest rate. if you see that on the right-hand side.
That's crazy.
Additionally, if you scroll down here to their legal disclosures, they're saying the 30-year fixed rate loan, an interest rate of 6.25% is for the cost of 2 points, which in this example, it's on a $200,000 loan, which as we know in our area, that's not common. So they're charging $4,000 on that loan. And then if you look down here at the bottom, payment assumes a loan to value of 74.91%. So that means they're quoting an interest rate with somebody putting 25% down. I believe if we keep going, I don't know where it's disclosed. Oh, here we go. Directly to the right of this on assumptions, it assumes that you're buying a single family home that's your primary residence, no cash out if you're refinancing, closing costs will be paid up front, not rolled into the loan. Your debt to income ratio is less than 30%. Typically debt to income, we see between 40 and 50%. And your credit score is over 720 or over 740 for certain jumbo options. So again, this is a best case scenario that they're quoting at 6.25%. I priced this same scenario with us this morning, and at that same 2-point charge, we're actually at 5.875 today. So a lot of people gravitate to Rocket Mortgage because they see it on TV. They're not getting the best deal. And if anybody on the call has been in a transaction with Rocket Mortgage, do you remember what that experience was like?
Terrible.
Was it?
Yeah.
I've never done a loan with them. From what I understand, it's an 800 number. You know, it's all online. You can't get a hold of someone and this and that. So I recently had a client and it was a referral and they said, oh, they've already been pre-approved for Rocket Mortgage. So I said, let's jump on a call and kind of dig into this to see what that experience is gonna look like. 2 out of 3 mortgage transactions didn't close on time or as promised last year. So what that means to a client is, one, worst case, potentially losing the home, right? So, you know, we really push our communication, weekly updates and things like that when we're talking to clients. So this is a great tool to be able to talk to clients about as well. Let's see. So I went over the recession values, 0.75% rate hike anticipated for the Fed during the next meeting, which is a good thing for mortgage rates. I went through MBS Highway and how I track rates. So again, to recap, today on this same scenario compared to Rocket Mortgage, we're at 5.875, where Rocket Mortgage is quoting 6.25. And I also wanted to share this article, which I will also send in the follow-up. Has anybody seen this article floating around from Fannie Mae? It was published on CNBC on September 1st.
Nope, first time.
Okay, so again, I'll share a link in the follow-up email. So mortgage rates will fall to 4.5% in 2023. That's the estimate from Fannie Mae. Here's what that means for home buyers. So Fannie Mae, who makes up 40% of the mortgages done in the entire country, is projecting rates to be between 4.5% and 5% next year. I think this is really important because a lot of people might see this and say, oh, well, shoot, I'm going to wait, right? I want to wait to buy a house until those rates come back down. This is a personal opinion. I don't believe that the appreciation is going to slow. There's no doubt that the market is shifting and softening a bit price-wise, but for the people that are buying homes today, I confidently believe that that house will be worth more money next year, right? Especially looking at the chart of what home values do in a recession. They typically stay flat or go up. But what I do believe is if and when this does happen and rates come back down, I think there's going to be another rush of buyers coming into the market, which means more competition. So a lot of the clients that we're seeing today, they're VA loans, they're first-time home buyers. I mean, we have some clients that are using down payment assistance, which fast forward 6 months to a year ago, that was unheard of, right? Those people just simply could not get their offers accepted because it was so competitive. So, there's a lot of people on social media, and there's a lot of people that are just really, really, really focused on saying, hey, now is the right time to buy. I understand that for everybody, it's not the right time to buy, but by using these articles and these images and these tools, I'm doing the best that I can to educate people and explain these concepts to them so that if they are on the fence, it might get them off the fence and realize that, hey, there is a good opportunity to buy right now. We've been seeing a lot of appraisals come over value. Rachel and I just did one where the house appraised for over $100,000 over contract price. I have another one in Shingle Springs. List price was $699. He got in a contract at $650 and got a $10,000 credit. So telling those stories to buyers is, hey, you can get a good deal right now. We want to make sure that you're comfortable with the payment now, but in the future, if rates drop 1.5%, that's going to mean a lot of savings each month and a potential to refinance. So I think this article is really good to highlight as well. You guys have any questions on that topic, or are you having these conversations with clients about like the current climate?
Yeah, I try to have these talks with them too, because I think there's also there's the unrealistic sellers, and now there's also the unrealistic buyers too. So I've been trying to work that into my conversations to where I can tell them, we may be able to go under asking, but maybe not 100,000 under asking on every house. Like there's a lot of people that have that unrealistic expectation, just like sellers. So I think this is great information to kind of use to help steer them in the right direction. And obviously we can't tell them what to place an offer at, but kind of guide them in the right direction to where they can comfortably get their offer accepted and still be under asking at the same time.
Yeah. So if I'm hearing you correct, you're saying that some sellers think they can still get the top dollar, multiple offers, etc. But you're saying that buyers are kind of overly aggressive in wanting to write lowball offers?
Yeah, exactly. So I've had a couple people that I've been working with, and they're kind of just like we wrote one that was, I think, I didn't want to write it, but it was like 65 grand under asking price or something like that.
Wow.
And it just, it didn't call for it. They had already lowered the price to where it, made sense for all the repairs that needed to be done already, because they had pre-inspections done.
Okay.
And I was like, that's just not going to work. And of course, we didn't get it accepted. So I think it's just after that, I was able to tell them, I think that a lot of houses are going for 10 to 15 under at the moment, but we need to be able to, see what this neighborhood is going for and still kind of be realistic with it, while still trying to get you the best deal possible.
Yeah, that's really good feedback. I mean, that one in Shingle Springs, we got an appraisal 10,000 over. That one that Rachel and I had was far over. And then we had another one in Southern California. It was a condo investment property purchase that just closed today. That appraisal came in 5,000 over. So I think kind of going, like you said, marginally under list price is realistic. But also, I mean, we want to position ourselves as true professionals in the market, right? These agents that we're seeing on listings when we're writing a buyer offer, chances are we're going to run into those people again. And like, we don't want to offend them or be unrealistic, right? Like you said, you didn't want to write that offer, but the client was just hard-headed. So
Right. Absolutely.
yeah, I think it's really important to work together and support each other as agents, even as competitors or whatever you want to call it. And like be respectful of everyone's business and just do what we can to try to make these deals work, So that's good feedback.